Hi. I I usually end up making videos because, when you have an artifact and you just show like a photograph, nobody sees it. I mean, if you can manipulate it around, it's more convincing to explain things, and I can do more with it. This one I found in basically a gravel pile, but it's a sloth tooth. I mean, and it's huge. Oh, I mean, it's not the whole tooth, but the more I found these, the more it kind of gave me a picture that this is a kind of ivory that the paleo people like to carve, and I didn't quite get it right away. I was finding a lot of this at the beach, and I was like, well, this is an interesting rock, and it took me a while to see the artwork on it. So we'll say this is the one that really did it for me. So we've got this sloth carved onto the tooth. That's the first thing that kind of identified. And after finding several of these kind of like this, I kind of got the idea that the baby sloth, he's kind of right there and it's hard to see, he rides on the mother's neck. And I actually saw a piece of artwork where that depicted a baby sloth riding on the parent's neck. I know it's all like this would be like the little hind leg there, the little tail, this little weird looking head. But look at this, you can see the face, and even the claw comes around and wraps around to the face. There's an eye, and the nose. Now, this part would have been the grind surface, and the outside of the tooth is just dang ugly. Imagine having this animal had to have been enormous. Now, here's my test. And I have to do this with one hand, and I've showed this before. You can see this is the outer surface. Now if I take a black light, these white areas will fluoresce. And what's kind of cool is you can see like the little cut lines and stuff. Now, if I take this, it just so happens, like if I lay it here, not only does another little sloth appear on the bottom of this sloth with an arm, so there's an arm and there's, but I've just interlocked these teeth in a way. Maybe if I use my right hand, okay. The grind surfaces line up, and I can keep doing this. Like I said, this one is a wolf head, and what's kind of cool about that is it's a different kind of wolf head over here. They had dire wolves back then. I noticed that there's a carving over on this side, but it's like it's worn down. It looks like a piece of quartz, and that's what I just accepted it as when I found it. But also when I took my sloth tooth, the angles perfectly lined up. We have another tooth. And so, I mean, I kept doing that with all these pieces. They all had that same angle. Check it out. cat head. This one I found inland, so it's whiter in color, and again it matches. And it has a lot of carvings on it. You can see it's got an open mouth here, and on the other side, this is hard to see. There's a sloth here. These paleo people were clever with their art, and you know, I'm a bit of an artist, so when you don't have too many canvases to work with, you may as well be clever with what you have. And ivory probably was probably in high demand. So like if you have a sloth this way, then you turn it, now you have like a mammoth going towards the right. So the sloth head becomes the mammoth butt. I've actually traced that picture. This is a different tooth, and you can see there's an animal head carved in there, and if you look really carefully, the eye, whatever blunt carving tool they used, the eye is like carved like as like a square. Ear is back here. If you look at that grain, teeth have this kind of like vertical grain, like whereas wood just kind of might go different ways. Rocks kind of random too. This one even, you know, I was looking at it the other day, and I think that also was a worn tooth as well. I think it makes more sense that paleo people would have found it more reasonable to carve the teeth of something than a rock. Okay, this is the wolf head I was showing. Yeah, this one also has that angle. You can see that that way. I'm just going quickly. That would be the outside, that rough outside of the tooth. You can see that's been cut into there. It's almost like the paleo natives they wanted to put a soul into everything, and it's like they just I don't think you're gonna find a whole like mastodon tooth or unless that animal just like died of natural causes. I think they just like to tear everything up. So I really feel like they just like there were a lot of people here. I even feel like this is a tooth. You can see there's a mammoth on that. It kind of looks like a pig, but with a long nose. But when I look up here, there's like a serration, and I wouldn't even know what kind of animal that was. I have a lot to say on this subject. But, all right, have a nice day.